Welcome. We're going to be talking about procrastination today. I'm Sandra Griff. And as an energy movement facilitator, I help you clear your clutter, mind, body, soul, and home. If you wouldn't mind giving me a hand, please comment or ask questions. And if this topic resonates with you, please let me know. And let me know if you like the show. And if you have any comments or questions, they could end up as a future topic. And if you know someone who could benefit from this show, please pass it along. So over the last few weeks, we've been talking about fear and anxiety and how they fit with procrastination. Today's topic is procrastination, and fear and anxiety play a huge role in that. Really, fear and anxiety are the cornerstones of procrastination. If you've never procrastinated, you are among the very, very few people in the 8 billion that are on this planet. Procrastination is a normal function. It's something 99.9% of people do. And it's not something to be ashamed of or something you need to stop entirely. But all of us, I believe, can do with a little less procrastination. So procrastination is defined as a method of coping as a response to something we can control. Anxiety is a response to future possible events. Anxiety is something that we feel when we feel out of control, that we cannot control something. So fear is immediate and anxiety is about the future. So it makes sense that we would procrastinate about producing lost my words. Anyway, it would make sense that we'd procrastinate if we have a fear or anxiety, so imminent or future. And stress is one of the main causes of this. When we feel stress, we feel like we can't function properly, and we put things off. We voluntarily put things off. And when we put things off, that is procrastination. So procrastination refers to the voluntary postponement of an unpleasant task. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be unpleasant. It could just be something that you're not ready to tackle yet. Doesn't mean it's necessarily unpleasant. And we often do this against our own better judgment, which is kind of funny, because if it's against our own better judgment, why would we continue to do it? Well, because the fear and the anxiety is stronger than our will to move ahead. So what this really means is when we procrastinate, we're passing the buck to our future selves. And sometimes we miss the mark. Sometimes we procrastinate so much we miss what it is we were going to do. For example, waiting until the last minute to register for an event, and you go to register the day before and you realize that the event registration has been closed. So you've missed your opportunity. And then we feel bad about missing the opportunity. So procrastination is really something we need to be completely aware of and work towards slowing down at the very least. Asking you to stop procrastinating would be pretty tough. It's a tough thing to do because we quite often do it without even recognizing we're doing it. So there are 5 basic reasons why we procrastinate. The first being an absence of structure. We're unorganized. We don't have things in place to keep us moving forward. So we have no actual direction, and it becomes common in the workplace, and that might contribute to procrastination. So we don't have deadlines, we don't have an actual structure, we don't have a list of things we need to do, we don't have an actual schedule. Those are things that could cause us to procrastinate. And some of the ways we would procrastinate in those situations is by going on Facebook or on the internet, or deciding it's time to clean out that top drawer of your desk rather than complete the task that's at hand. Or putting that pile of papers that's sitting on your desk that needs attention onto the back of your desk so you don't see it. It's not visual. Ways we procrastinate. So the second is because the task is unpleasant, or maybe it's boring. We don't want to do boring things. We live in a world where we are constantly stimulated and we are always alert and being overstimulated. So if we perceive things to be boring, it really does make it more difficult to complete the tasks in front of us. So some of the strategies you can use to complete boring or unpleasant tasks is to divide and conquer. You can shift your focus from the ultimate goal to a series of easy to complete tasks. So break it down into little chunks rather than large portions. The whole thing. How do you eat an elephant would be the question. One bite at a time. So break it down into small chunks, and the tasks are easier to complete. You're far less likely to procrastinate when you have a small task to complete compared to a really large one. And another one is to set a time limit. So if you have an assignment due and you really are not excited about completing this assignment, set aside half an hour, 45 minutes to work on this assignment and focus on it just for that time. You would be surprised at how much you can get done in a really short period of time if you are focused. So much of our time is spent unfocused. If you actually focus on a task for a short period of time, even if it's just 15 minutes, it is amazing what we can accomplish. The third reason we procrastinate is timing. So if we have a lot of time to complete a task, it's far less likely to be completed. If you've got 3 weeks to respond to an event, you're far less likely to actually respond than if you only have 3 hours. So time is of the utmost importance. You really need to watch your time. So the next one, actually, so when time is involved, if you're trying to quit smoking, you can try and try and try over many, many years to have that one last cigarette. But if you don't make a short-term goal to go along with your long-term goal, it's quite easy to fail. It's quite easy to put that off. So if you're going to try to quit smoking, you should do it one day at a time. Do it 1 minute at a time. Don't say you don't need to believe you're a non-smoker for the rest of your life. That's a pretty big accomplishment. And lots of people have done it, and it is completely achievable. What you do need to remember is you only need to be a non-smoker for this minute, for this day. So small chunks, break things down into small chunks. Anxiety is the next reason we procrastinate. We get that tightness in our chest, or we get the butterflies in our stomach. We get anxiety over the things that we have to do. So we postpone them. We just postpone them. It's that simple. And there is evidence that indicates procrastination is associated with a high level of stress. So if you are under a high level of stress, you are more likely to procrastinate. So to relieve stress, you can shift your focus away from the future events and be in the moment. The more you are in the moment, the less stress you will feel. Stress is usually caused by thinking about future events, stuff we cannot control, things we may think are going to happen. They don't necessarily happen. They may not ever happen, but we build them up in our heads and it causes stress. So the less stress you have, the less likely you are to procrastinate. And finally, self-confidence or our lack of ability. So quite often we will choose to not do something or put it off for an extended period of time because we don't feel confident in our ability. And when we don't feel confident, that actually can stop us from gaining confidence because we don't push ourselves, we don't stretch ourselves, we don't push ourselves forward to do things that we may not be quite capable of. But that's how we learn. Get outside your comfort zone and you will find great things beyond there. That's where the magic happens, is outside your comfort zone. So try not to let low self-confidence or a lack of skills stop you from doing something. If you choose to do it, you will find the skills, or you will find someone who can help with the skills. So a quote from Hunter S. Thompson. He says, "A man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance." So that means if you procrastinate, you're actually making a choice to have someone else choose for you. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather make my own choices. I would rather choose badly than have someone else choose for me. So consider that. So let's get into some tapping. We're going to be tapping on fear, anxiety, and procrastination. And some of you may be procrastinating right now, but that's okay. Stay tuned because this can help you in the future. So let's identify some of the ways we procrastinate so you can focus on a specific event. I want you to think of some of the things you do that you are procrastinating. So things like maybe taking that phone call when you're running out the door because you really don't want to be running out the door, so you stop to answer the phone, or staying on a phone call longer than you anticipated, which makes you late for the next thing that you're supposed to be doing. Or maybe you're watching TV instead of going to the gym, going out with friends instead of completing an assignment, or put off registering for a class until tomorrow, and tomorrow actually never comes. So sometimes we can miss out on great things because we put it off too long. Or just simply saying, I'll do it later. So next, I want you to rate your fear and anxiety from maybe hearing those things, or if you've come up with your own, that's great. It's better if you're tapping on your own feelings. So 1 is little to no fear or anxiety, and 10 is you are crawling out of your skin. And if you're less than a 5, you may want to choose another topic or another thing to think about. Something that makes you a little more fearful or anxious, that really stops you from moving forward. And the reason I ask you to do this is not because I want you to be fearful or anxious. I just want you to pull up stuff that's already there so we can actually tap it down so you can feel how that feels. So once you have your fear rated, I want you to take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and blow it out. So we're going to start tapping on the eyebrow point, right here, right at the edge of your eyebrow where it starts. And I want you to repeat after me as you're tapping. Use 2 or 3 fingers, tap on your eyebrow point, and repeat after me. This fear. We're going to move to the side of the eye, bone right on the side of your eye. this fear and anxiety in the pit of my stomach. Under the eye, bone right under your eye. Don't tap too hard. We don't want to leave bruises. It's a nice, gentle tap. Repeat after me. I don't want to complete this task. Under the nose, right under your nose. Just thinking about it is making me sick to my stomach. Chin. I just want to run and hide. Collarbone. My body does not feel good. Your collarbone, you find the 2 points where your collarbone comes together. Spread your fingers about 2 inches and just drop it down. I just want to run and hide. Your wrist, right where your wrist bends. I don't like feeling this way. Top of the head. I don't want to do it. Now we're just going to run through the points and you're going to repeat after me. Eyebrow. I can do it later. Side of the eye. But what if I'm too late? Under the eye. I'm not enjoying feeling this way at all. Under the nose. But I don't know how to stop it. Chin. This fear just wells up in me. Collarbone. I just want to hide. Wrist. I don't know where it's coming from. Top of the head. I am so afraid. Eyebrow. What if I never get this task done? Side of the eye. I'm not sure I even know how. Under the eye. I don't know what's stopping me. Under the nose. I don't know what I'm doing. Chin. I feel so helpless. Collarbone. I can't shake this feeling. Wrist. And I have no reason to be afraid. Top of the head. I'm not being chased by a tiger. Eyebrow. I'm not in mortal danger. Side of the eye. I don't get why I feel this way. Under the nose. I am so anxious. Chin. But even though I'm really scared. Collarbone. Would I be willing to bring peace to this fear? Wrist. And work towards calming down. Top of the head. Maybe I just need some boundaries. Eyebrow. But I'm not sure I want to be in charge. Side of the eye. I definitely don't like how this feels. Under the eye. All of this fear in my body. Under the nose. I know I can be better than this. Chin. I know I can do better than this. Collarbone. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Wrist. Comfortable doesn't always mean good. Top of the head. I wonder if I could expand. Eyebrow. Stretch myself to grow a little. Side of the eye. Letting in new challenging things. under the eye, and staying present to check them out. Under the nose. Just allowing these things to come in. Chin. But it's also new. Collarbone. I wonder if I can stop procrastinating. It's just wrist. It's just so scary. Top of the head. But I know I want to feel better. Eyebrow. I want to feel less fear. Side of the eye. I want to be more productive. Under the eye. I can complete this task on time. Chin. I do want to be in charge of my own life. Collarbone. And my own time. Wrist. Knowing that I am safe. Top of the head. Safe in my body. Eyebrow. Allowing these changes to take place. Side of the eye. With ease and joy and grace. Under the eye. I can do this. Under the nose. I don't have to feel fear. Chin. I can feel joy. Collarbone. And I choose that now. I want you to take a nice deep breath and blow it out. While you're checking in with your anxiety and your fear over your procrastination, I would like to let you know that I did miss a few spots today, and although I didn't really do it on purpose, it just goes to show that you don't have to hit every spot every time. If you tap out of sequence, that's okay. You don't have to be an expert at this. You don't have to hit every spot. You don't have to repeat the words exactly. What you need to do is tap and feel. So I'd like you to check in with your anxiety now. And for most of you, it should have gone down at least a couple of points. It's only been 3 to 5 minutes, but it should have gone down at least a couple of points. If you weren't very high in anxiety and fear over procrastination, then it could be down to a 1 or 2, and that's great. That's a place you can manage it, and you can move forward from there. If you'd like to tap it right down to a 0, please continue tapping. That will bring it down to a 0. If you'd like to get to the core issue of why you are procrastinating, I would love to help you with that. The emotional freedom technique is all about moving that emotional energy, the fear, the anxiety, the pain. So when you're tapping, as I said, you're tapping on the emotion. It's less about the words. So don't worry about what words you're using. Really tap on what you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body. For example, you don't have to actually say any words. You can just focus on the fear in your gut. This fear in my 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 gut. And you don't actually have to do a sequence. If you found that your collarbone, I love my collarbone spot. My collarbone spot is one I can go to at any time, anywhere. If you found a spot that feels really good for you, then you can just tap on that spot. Just tap as long as you need to on that spot. Now, remember not to tap so hard you're making yourself sore or leaving bruises. That's not very good. Usually within 3 to 5 minutes, you will feel some relief. And what we did here today is just relief. We're just relieving the immediate feeling. It's like taking a painkiller for a headache. And the emotional freedom technique can offer long-term fixes if we can get to the core reason for the issue that you're having. And most practitioners, most EFT practitioners, which is what I am, can get you to the core issue and help you remove it, like my fear of spiders. And if you'd like more information, you can contact me through my website. Please post your comments and questions. Your feedback could help shape future shows. It could also help others who are watching. Have a great day.